Good morning, Illini. Welcome back to Healthy Illini Podcast. I'm your host, Matt, and we're glad you're with us today. Really excited about this one today, and so I want to keep the introduction short because we want to jump in and give plenty of time to our guests to talk about it. But today it's homecoming week, and so it's a lot of things happening on campus, but we're also talking about a blood drive that's happening on campus, and not just our campus, and that's kind of one of the exciting parts of it. But today we have three guests joining us. First off, we have Dr. Ted Kiefer. He is with Abbott Transfusion Medicine, the United States Area Medical Director for Abbott, and he is a board-certified clinical pathologist and also certified in blood bank and transfusion medicine. Dr. Ted, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me, Matt.
And along with him, I have two student representatives from the University of Illinois. First up is Forrest Reyes. Forrest is a senior here at UIUC in sports management and pre-law. He is an assistant intern with Fighting Illini Sports Properties. Forrest, thanks for being here.
Yep, excited to be here.
And also Lauren Coote. And Lauren is a junior here at the University of Illinois. And she's majoring in marketing and information systems. And she is a student ambassador for the Abbott and Big Ten We Give Blood Drive. Lauren, thanks for joining us.
Thank you. I'm so excited.
So this whole podcast today, we're talking about giving blood, and we're talking about giving blood donation, blood drives, whatever you want to call it. And for a lot of students in the United States, maybe not the international students we have on campus, but a lot of students that are coming from the States here, they're probably familiar with a blood drive in some way. Most of us can remember, even back in my days, can remember having blood drives at the high schools for student council or for National Honor Society, or somebody was putting on a blood drive. And so they may have heard about it. But I remember back when I did mine, eons ago, that all I knew about the blood drive was I went in, I gave blood, whatever that meant, but I got a free T-shirt and I got some juice, and that was like the extent of my understanding of what was happening. So before we get into the details of why you're here during homecoming week, specifically on the University of Illinois campus, let's start with why donating blood is important. So it's kind of whoever wants to jump in, but what are the reasons why it's so important to talk about giving blood?
Yeah, I'll hit that from a kind of a medical perspective, Matt, if that's okay, and then I'll let my friends take it over. When blood is donated, so there's important things to know about blood donation. There is no alternative to a volunteer blood donor coming in and giving blood for patients. There's no artificial blood that's out there, regardless of what you may have heard or may have seen through any media or anything along those lines. Blood has to be donated to be given to patients, and there's so many patients in need. There's leukemia patients, there's trauma patients, there's mothers, there's babies. There's a continuous need. It doesn't change. And what we've seen over the years is the older donors, the donors who have come in more regularly and have had accustomed to donating on a frequent basis, are moving from blood donors to blood recipients. So there's a shift in the dynamic, and there's a shift in the need for donors out there. And young donors, 19 to 24 age donors, about a third of them, there's been a decrease in 19 to 24 age donors. So that they're not really filling the gap of the individuals that are going on and becoming blood recipients. Ultimately, there's a huge need. There's a huge value associated with it, and I'll allow the ambassadors to talk about some of the value of blood drives and blood donations.
Thanks, Ted. I think you explained the need so well, and something that was like a huge part of this campaign when I joined was understanding like the generational difference in donating blood. A lot of these older generations, like they really felt like it was their civic duty, and now blood donations were at an all-time low historically. It's never been this bad. We've never had this much of a need for it, and someone needs a donation every 2 seconds. And just one donation, just like that uncomfortable 15 minutes of your life, like saves 3 lives, which is so huge. And we all probably know someone like in our corner that's needed a blood donation, or have heard of all these reasons that Ted just explained that are so huge. The younger generation, I don't know if we just didn't receive the same kind of education the older generation did, with it being like your civic duty and like that kind of incentive being instilled. I really felt that after the first time I donated blood, which we can talk about later if you guys want. But it was super huge. We found that like Gen Z kind of needs more of an incentive. So that's why Abbott and the Big Ten is doing this friendly competition, is to get people back on board with donating blood.
Yeah, when I first kind of like learned about We Give Blood Drive and really kind of why it is in place with the Big Ten, And I kind of saw the stat that 5.6% of blood donations in 2021 came from those aged 19 to 24. And then I was like, wow, that's kind of crazy. So that's why I feel like, it's very important to give blood for the younger generations, develop more of a healthier relationship with giving blood. Because kind of Lauren mentioned, like, it's not like Gen Z doesn't want to give back to the community. It's kind of just shifting that need to, the blood drive and showcasing, like, hey, it's really impactful and we need you guys to step up and do this also. Because, I'm part of one of the Gen Zers who probably didn't want to give blood. But now I kind of understand the need for it. I think I was meeting with Chantel, Lauren, and Diana at the start of the summer, and they kind of played this video. It was a student from University of Iowa, and kind of talked about how, giving blood kind of really impacted her life. And then the mother was crying, and I felt emotional. I felt like a very big connection to this blood drive. And I think it kind of underscores the need for, young generation to really step up because it's going to save people.
Before we move on to the details of this particular blood drive, Dr. Ted, I wanted to ask you a real quick question and clarification, because we often hear about blood type, and there are different blood types. And as we're talking about donating blood, it's important that lots of different types of people give blood because they're different. Why is blood type so important? And can you talk about the different types and kind of how that plays a factor into blood shortages and things like that?
Four main major blood types. And there's a universal blood type, so red cells can get donated to anybody if you're type O, but there's other products that are within, or there's different components within your body that make up blood. And like, I could go on for hours about how cool blood is and all the things that it does and how interesting it is. So O, A, B, and AB. So those are the four main types. Some are very valuable for trauma patients because when somebody comes in for a trauma, you don't know what their blood type is. So those O red cell units can go into a trauma patient. But also we need AB because platelets are a component of blood, plasma is a component of blood. And when somebody's bleeding like that, they're losing every single component. So mixing it all together and being able to give it to the patient and allowing the hospital to be able to manage who needs the right blood is the best. So we need as much blood on the shelf as possible. A lot of our blood centers only have a day's worth on the shelf, and one trauma patient can completely wipe that out. There's traumas that go up to use over 100 units ultimately because they're trying to save that person's life. They're giving them as much as they can. And what the donor actually gives in that setting is time to save somebody's life, for them to live a little bit longer. Somebody can it's just such a powerful emotion. And that's part of the disconnect, I think, in translating this, because that's a very difficult message to share. And Lauren and our ambassadors, they're talking about all of this feeling of altruism, which is really special associated with blood donation. But the time that you're giving, it's immeasurable for the 15 minutes to the hour that it takes for you to donate blood. You're giving somebody an extension of their life. I've been in settings where a child is undergoing leukemia treatment and they are pale and they're gray and they want to fight, but they're losing the energy. They get a blood donation, they pink up, and they're ready to go again. And it's such a powerful thing. And it's such a small community that gets to see that. And we're trying to translate that and share that with the community so that you know what you can do, how much power you have in your body to take your time and give time in life to somebody else. So I just wanted to share that as well, in addition to the blood types, to make it a little less lectury.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That's a huge part of it, and it's so important to convey because that's part of what this program is about, is trying to give human perspective, give connection on things that, many of us that have done blood drive, we've seen that side of it, of giving the blood, but we haven't seen the other side of it, of where it goes and what it does. And so I appreciate that perspective on that. I want to talk more about what happens when you give blood, but not quite yet. Before we get to that, we've mentioned the Abbott Big Ten blood. We give blood drive. I think it was Forrest who mentioned a competition, but we haven't really talked about what that means. Would you talk about the We Give Blood Drive and why it's happening and where it's happening? And it's a really cool initiative that I'm excited to talk about. Would you share some details for somebody who may not have any idea what we're talking about when we talk about the Abbott Big Ten We Give Blood Drive?
Since I'm the Abbott guy, I'll take that one too, but I really want to hear what the ambassadors have to say about it. Abbott makes sure that the blood is safe. So we make the products that test the blood. to ensure that when it's received by a recipient, so somebody who gets a blood transfusion, they know that it's not got any infectious disease associated with it. So that's what Abbott's focus is: healthy donor populations, healthy recipients, healthy patients. And that's our mission. That's our focus. So it's really great to be part of a community and a company like that. When we looked at the market, or when we looked at how blood donors were shifting, and we saw that gap in the younger donor population, we wanted to do what we could to help change that dynamic, that metric. And we know that young people love sports. We know that there's a large college community that can get behind their teams. So we tied that competition of university and Big Ten in sports with blood donation, just to show that, there are aspects of blood donation that can be fun as well. So, I mean, we interjected a little bit of competition. This is the second year that we've been running it. We've already saved thousands of lives last year. We're saving thousands of lives this year. But the awareness, the national campaign, it can seem a little disconnected, but the message needs to get out there. And that's why we're working with universities individually as well, which our ambassadors can comment on.
Yeah, I think you touched on it perfectly. Like, it's a national campaign, it's a national competition. I'm actually from Oregon, so I have a lot of friends from University of Oregon. So the Big Ten, not known for before the expansion, they were known just to be, have the Midwest and some of the East Coast schools, but now having 4 powerhouses with Oregon, Washington, UCLA, and USC. Now I'm texting my friends from Oregon in group chat. I'm like, hey, do you see the leaderboard? Kind of killing you. So it's kind of funny, and I think that's just kind of what Abbott wanted, right? They wanted to have enlight that competition, right? Who can kind of showcase their support with their university and represent them in a way that they couldn't before. So that's kind of a cool aspect that I've never seen before. Yeah, last week was rivalry week against Indiana. Sadly, we did come up short, but it's okay though. We keep going, fighting Illini, keep going, and keep donating blood.
Yeah, I think the Big Ten was just the perfect way to do this. I mean, that's one of the reasons people come to, Illinois. They're it's a Big Ten school. Being a part of, the Big Ten Conference and the rivalry, I mean, there's so much history behind it, which I think is really amazing, and anyone can donate, which is why it makes it so cool, because it's not just the students, it's the alumni and the fans that are also rah-rah for their Big Ten school. It's really amazing, and last year Nebraska won. So last year was our first year doing the Big Ten We Give Blood drive, and this year has been even more amazing, just in the numbers of donations we're seeing coming in have been incredible. The school that wins is going to get $1 million to health initiatives on campus, and that has just been really lighting up students, and I think it's so cool that Abbott and the Big Ten want to make that big of a contribution. But it concludes, it started August 27th, will conclude December 5th. So that's the Big Ten competition.
Yeah, and then we want to make it fun. So not only, is there a competition between schools overall for that $1 million grant, again, focus on the health of the students and the community. But there's also weekly competitions now that we've added this year. So that if, to reinforce the value of blood donation, we'll get you over that initial hump with an exciting offer for on-campus rewards. So pay attention to the Abbott Big Ten website for when your school comes up for individual competitions to win some specific campus-oriented rewards.
So we are pushing through. This is going out because there is a blood drive that's happening. We're going to talk about that exactly when it is here. But it's during homecoming week. Events are happening here, but it doesn't end here. So it does go through the end of December. So my question is, do you have to go to a specific spot to be counted for this contest? If I go find a blood drive in my hometown, I live 45 minutes away, that probably wouldn't count. Or is there a way to make it count? How do you donate and make sure that it goes towards this contest?
As long as you're eligible and as long as you go donate blood, all you have to do is text the number on the website, go to the website and submit your donation. It's so simple. I've been able to sit in at blood drives and literally log donations for people that come through, but all you have to do is just take a picture of your arm. It really is that simple, and say the school you're donating for. Upload that. We usually have QR codes or a number you can text, signage at the donation sites, and then staff is also familiar, but we've been great at getting like volunteers and people to come. But you can donate anywhere.
Yeah, it's funny you say that you can donate anywhere. I've been texting my parents who live in Portland, Oregon, and I'm telling them these are the steps to do it, and they've been able to actually donate blood and all the way from Portland, Oregon. So I'm happy that it doesn't support Oregon Ducks and supports Illinois. So kind of, yeah.
And we'll list the website and the link in the bio, because you just mentioned what it is. If somebody wants to go find out more, they need to get that information. What is the website they're looking for?
So you're looking for Abbott and the Big Ten We Give Blood Drive.
All right, yeah. What is that URL for that?
So it's big10.org/Abbott/donate and then another slash. And from there, you can pick your school. I know my Illini are listening, so go tap on that I. And then you will also be led to a list of different upcoming blood drives on campus.
So again, we'll have that link in the bio, so you can click on that. You don't have to remember everything, but just to have it in your head, that's where it is. But Lauren, you mentioned that we will have one on campus during homecoming. Actually, when this airs, it'll be the next day, happening on the 24th, excuse me, on the 24th. But would you talk about that particular blood drive and when it is, where it is, things like that, if somebody's listening, they want to get involved?
Yeah, so we're working with the American Red Cross to have a very just long time. I think it's 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the Illini Union. We're hoping to just fill up those spots and pull everyone to come out for homecoming and give blood that week. We know that there's going to be a lot of alumni and fans on campus, so we're hoping to like engage them and bring them out for that homecoming drive. And it's going to be at the Union. There's going to be signage outside. You won't be able to miss it, but you can always ask around if you can't find the blood drive. You can also log your donation by texting DONATE, all caps, DONATE, to 222688.
So with that, one of the last things I wanted to talk about before we wrap up, there's a ton we could talk about, but one of the things I really wanted to address is to say somebody's listening now and they're like, yeah, I want to get on this competition. I want to help us win. I want to help people, giving blood for people who need it. I want to do all these things, but I've never done it before, and I'm a little unsure of what this means. Give blood. What does that even mean? Can you talk about what the experience will be of, like, you come up to give blood, what the process will be?
Yeah, I think this is super important to research like before you actually go give blood and like know all of this information, because a lot of the time, and I think this is why our younger generation doesn't want to donate blood, is because they didn't come prepared. Like they didn't do all the things they were supposed to do and they felt faint or they had a bad experience. But if you actually do these steps, I do think that your blood donation can go well and you won't have like one of these bad experiences that some people may be talking about. The first thing is drink a whole lot of water the day before and the day of, especially in the morning. Eat a full breakfast, eat more than you think you need, most likely. And then I always suggest bringing a friend. I think it really eases your nerves if you do it with someone else. You're not alone in that. And if you can't bring a friend, I suggest getting to know the staff there. They're so friendly, they're so nice, and they're the most educated people on how to get you to calm down in that kind of situation. They have really good tips for like squeezing your legs or like crossing your feet a certain way to relax you and make that blood transfusion go quicker. They also just like speak up if you are feeling faint or feeling any kind of way. I think that's super important because they are the most educated people in the room and know how to make you feel better. Super huge on just staying calm and relaxing yourself. I was just scrolling my phone on the side while it was happening and just didn't look, and it went great. So that's my biggest advice is drink water, eat food, bring a friend, and just relax.
And it's okay if you bring like you have your AirPods in and you're listening to music, or maybe even having something on your phone you're reading, or studying. I guess you kind of do that on campus sometimes. That kind of thing.
I mean, they've probably seen it all, so just whatever you need to do, you can do it. They'll be okay with it.
And I'll tie in a little bit there also, if that's okay, Matt. So I mean,
absolutely.
The blood donation process, I mean, it's blood is a drug essentially. So I mean, you're supplying a drug to patients. So there's certain steps that we need to take to ensure that the blood is safe and that the donor is safe. So I mean, that's the primary responsibility of every single one of the donor staff, is to make sure that the donor is safe, they have the best experience possible, and then that they're taken care of throughout the whole process. So you have to answer a series of questions before you come in, or you can do it once you come in. that just assesses whether or not you've done anything that might indicate the collection shouldn't happen today, ultimately. Then there's a mini physical. So, I mean, they review how well you're feeling that day. So if you're not feeling well, nobody wants anybody to have a donor reaction, especially the donor staff. They want people to have a positive experience. So if you're not feeling up to it, they'll make sure that you don't donate. And then once you're in the chair, everybody talks about a fear of needles. There's nobody who doesn't have a fear of needles, technically. It's not a natural process. So there's no physiologic response to, there's no physiologic desire to have a needle in your arm. And that's completely fair. It's completely natural if you feel that way. But as Lauren mentioned, the donor staff is there to generate as much comfort for you as possible. And Abbott's taking steps to make the experience as comfortable as possible. Also, we've explored different technologies in association with easing that donor experience to minimize stress. So the calmer you are, the more ease of the process, the better off everything's going to be for everybody. And then, of course, afterwards, you have your opportunity for a snack. You've just saved somebody's life, and we give you a cookie. So good on you. But make sure you take that opportunity to replenish what was lost after the donation. Take your time, sit down, relax, give your body time to adjust to that change before heading out.
And, just tying back to something we talked about earlier, you mentioned that the different types of blood are really important for different reasons. Do you need to know what your type is when you come? Do you have to know what it is? Because, there are a lot of people that, especially if they're their first time donating, they may have no idea what type they are. Is that important information to know beforehand, or is that something that you figure out on the back end?
No, it's something you can figure out on the back end. People are always curious about it. So unless you're a blood donor or someone who needs blood, your blood type is pretty much unknown to you. I'm O negative, CMV seronegative. So they give my blood to babies. And they remind me about that. And I'm happy to give it so that we can do that. But if you come in and you don't know your blood type, it's okay. Like I said, every blood product is needed. Those O's are great for trauma patients, but if everything is O and that goes to trauma patients, then there's no blood left for anybody else. So after the blood is received, they'll test it to figure out what type you are. They'll keep that in their records so that the next time you come back, if there's a certain need for a certain type of product from your blood, they can direct you towards that. But if you give whole blood, you're given every aspect, and the blood center can cherish and manage and steward that gift and separate it out into the different components so that it can give it to patients that are in need.
Mm-hmm. I also just want to clarify, because I think there's a lot of misconceptions on eligibility. A lot of people will ask if they've donated blood before, if they'd like to, and they're like, oh, I'm not eligible. There's no sexuality screening question on blood donations. I know that used to be a thing a couple years ago. There's also just taking those questions are very straightforward, and if you don't give yourself a chance to go in the room and taking that test and go through all those questions, you never know if you'll be eligible. And a lot of it is super straightforward. It's just making sure you're not sick.
And all of it's confidential.
Yes.
So
it's a great way to find out your blood type too, if you don't know.
Well, I really appreciate you all coming in and talking about this today. I mean, I'm fairly familiar with blood drives. I've done them a number of years, ever since I was in high school. But even today, I learned some things I didn't know before. And so I love having these types of chats because I get to learn, and then our listeners definitely get to learn. But before we go, I want to give you each an opportunity, kind of your last spiel, your last, incentive, whatever what it is to inspire people. But again, why is this blood drive so important here on campus, and why is it so important for college students to get involved? This is your last chance to promote what you want before we close. So I know I'm throwing this one at you, but anybody can jump in. But you talked about how important this is, especially for college students. Again, just remind us why that is.
Yeah. So I mean, if we can give you a good experience, a positive experience, and make it fun for your first time donation, please come in. Become a lifetime donor. You're gonna change a life every single time you donate. There's no way around it. I have my personal experiences. I had a grandfather with leukemia. We got extra time with him because he got blood donations. I've been a doctor. I've seen the patients that get the blood. Every single one of them is so appreciative, but they don't have a means of telling the donor. So let me say it to you. Thank you for being a donor. If you're not a donor yet, please consider coming in. And if you can't come in and you can't donate, just spread the word. Encourage somebody else to come in, because again, it's one of the most altruistic things you can do. If you care about a stranger, like this gives them something that nobody else can give. So please God.
Yeah, and I think it's also like with the We Give Blood drive, there's an opportunity to represent your school, and also have a lasting impact. This $1 million could be big. It could be helpful for the lasting generations who go to the University of Illinois. And as kind of Dr. Ted was saying, it's the most altruistic thing you can do. You're helping out someone, may help up to 3 lives. So you're doing to yourself kind of a service and a service for your community.
Yeah, I think being the Big Ten student ambassador for Illinois has been such a fulfilling experience, and it's only September. We just started this competition, but I sit at a lot of the blood drives, and I meet a lot of the people that come through, and just getting that interpersonal experience is so cool. But there's people that are these lifetime donors, and they've told me how many times they've donated, and it blows my mind, and I think they're the coolest people ever. After I donated my first time, and I think we've said this over and over, but that 15 minutes that might be uncomfortable or kind of nerve-wracking for you, it really does. It saves 3 lives. Your donation saves up to 3 lives. And I think after I was done donating, I was so excited to go donate again. I want to note that I think it's 8 weeks you have to wait to donate again. So if you donate now, if you donate soon, you can donate another time for Illinois, and I know I will. Also, we still have t-shirts left. So if you donate, we have a really cool Illini vintage t-shirt. You can submit your donation and get that free t-shirt. Students have been really excited about that, so I wanted to add that. But yes, it's just so fulfilling, and I promise you, once you do it, you'll have that feeling, and likely I think you're going to want to do it again. So thank you so much.
Lauren, as the student ambassador for the University of Illinois, if somebody wants more information, is there a way they can get a hold of you and have you come speak with them?
Yeah, of course. We're always looking to get students and registered student organizations involved in the competition. They can reach out to me, laurencoot@gmail.com. We'll attach it in the bio of this, but I'm pretty easy to reach out to, so don't be shy. Don't hesitate to reach out.
Well, Dr. Ted, Lauren, Forrest, thank you so much for joining us today. I've really enjoyed this conversation, and I'm really excited about the competition. I was already excited about it, but even more so now having talked to you. So just thank you so much for taking time out of your day to talk with us.
Really appreciate it. So happy to be here. Thank you for all that you do.
Yeah, thank you.
It's my pleasure. We talk a lot on this program about a lot of topics, important topics, and this is one that's just as important as any we've had, and it's so vital that we have blood donation. But we talk here a lot that you're on a personal journey, and we want to come alongside with you. And a lot of the topics we have are about you and your journey and how you improve. This is one is about you and somebody else's journey. This is one where you get to come alongside with somebody else and you get to walk with them, whatever it may be, and be a part of that. And that's a really powerful position to be in. And so I really encourage you to think about donating. To find out more information, check out the website that we have in the bio, because as much as I love coming alongside people and walking with them, it is so inspiring to me when I see other people's stories, see what they do, and you have a chance to be a part of somebody else's story in this. So I really encourage you to be a part of it. Talk to your friends, talk to your family about the importance of this, not just during this drive and this competition, which it is, but just lifelong, because it does impact so many people, and there's hardly anybody you will come in contact with that hasn't been impacted by the need for blood at some point. And so I just really encourage you to think about it and take those steps and be a part of this, be a part of helping other people out. But thank you for joining us today. You are on a personal journey no matter where you are in it. You are important and you matter. Your health and wellness are important and matter, and we're here to keep you well to excel. So go have a great week, Illini. Let us know how you're doing, and we'll catch you next time on Healthy Illini.